when you come for Guadalupe. You come for me. For the last 2 years, Kamal made his rounds.
David Roth travels the world, as many of these folks do. He brings joy and love and hope, and his songs have become even more powerful in their messaging. He sings of social justice and sings about issues that are especially relevant now. So he is, are we good? He came down from Cape Cod. He got up at 2 in the morning to catch a flight, and every year at this time, David has gigs in Florida, and he changed his schedule this year because he really wanted to be a part of the UnNaugural before we went out of business here. So please join me in welcoming my friend, the very wonderful David Roth.
Is it too much to ask that you turn off your texting? Too much to ask, too much fuss? Will the world stop revolving if you're not connecting? How about connecting with us? Is it too much to ask that you use your turn signal to let someone know if you're turning or not? Is it too much to ask that you don't honk your horn when it's obvious the traffic has stopped? Is it too much to ask to be gracious? Is politeness a thing of the past? Is it too much to ask to be warm and kind-hearted? Is it too much to ask? What is the line for a sing-along? I like it when you sing along. Is it too much to ask? My turn. Is it too much to ask to have safe drinking water or clean air to breathe every day? When we're taking a walk, is it too much to ask that we don't have to walk the same way? Is it too much to ask to be quiet and listen? Is it too much to ask to be heard? Watch out now. Is it too much to ask to allow an opinion that isn't the same one as yours? Is it too much to ask to be gracious? Is politeness a thing of the past? Is it too much to ask to be warm and kind-hearted? Let me hear ya. Is it too much to ask that you sit there and listen to long-winded songwriting nerds? Is it too much to ask to have instruments only or songs without so many words? Is it too much to ask when you're walking the poodle if Fifi goes poo-poo to clean up the mess? Is it too much to ask that you put on that suit tonight? Baby, I'll put on the dress. Is it too much to ask to be gracious? Is politeness a thing of the past? Is it too much to ask to be warm and kind-hearted? Is it too much to ask again? Ask your neighbor. Is it too much to ask? Thank you. For the last 4 years, Guadalupe checked in to the Phoenix office of immigration. Both of her kids, U.S. born. But everything changed the day they took her away. In the home of the brave, in the land of the free, we are immigrants and pilgrims and refugees from every nation, one family. When you come for Guadalupe, you come for me. For the last 2 years, Kamal made his rounds. Interfaith Medical Center, New York City. He went to Sudan to visit his mom. But everything changed. He couldn't come back. He was stranded in the home of the brave, in the land of the free. We are immigrants and pilgrims and refugees from every nation, one family. When you come for Kamal, you come for me. Give me your tired, your poor huddled masses. This is America built by dreamers, yearning to breathe free. If I had to leave my country, what would I do? If the way I dressed was a trigger for you, if I'm not welcome here, where would I go? Could I sail away on an unknown ocean of hope? In the home of the brave, in this land of the free, we are immigrants and pilgrims and refugees from every nation, one family. When you come for Guadalupe, for Kamal, when you come for my neighbor, you come for me. I've had a time with that song. I co-wrote with a couple friends, Karen Drucker from San Francisco and J.D. Martin from Colorado, and I've sung that song at every concert for the last 3 years, all over the country. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Every place I play is not filled with folk-friendly people with the same sensibilities as me. I can't believe it, but it's true. And this was illustrated to me very clearly 2 Monday nights in a row. The first Monday night was a little Methodist church in Coopeville, Washington, near Seattle. And it was a little fundraiser, and the producer had brought me there many times to play my songs for his community, or as I would say, inflict me on them. And the church was packed that night. We're raising money for a medical fund for people who couldn't pay for short-term medical situations. And it was called Little Miracles. So I played this song. It was new at the time. This was after the 2016 election. At the end of the first set, and boy, the room got quiet. And at the intermission, everybody's having cookies and all that kind of stuff that we do. And then when we came back, the first 4 rows in the front, first 4 seats in the front row were empty after the intermission. And I said, "Hey, Vern, is everything okay?" He says, "Yeah, those guys were from the local military base, and they came over and told me they'd heard enough for one night. with your last song. But then, and this is still him talking, he said, please keep doing what you're doing. That's why I bring you here. And I said, well, this is what I do, And but I learned something that night. There might be occasions where it might be good to put that song in the second set. I'm smarter than I look. So a week later at the Gates Fire Hall, a little fire hall in Central Oregon, a logging town where people moved for the deer hunting. The place was filled, 50 chairs. A friend of mine said, told the fire chief he knew a folk singer, hey, you love this guy, chief. Let's have a folk concert on Monday night. The chief said, that sounds good. Do you think he'd let me play piano with him? And I said, I'm sure he would, and I did. So the fire hall had 50 chairs. It was packed. I think all the chairs were full, and I think there were 20 people standing. I think they actually violated the fire code there that night. But the chief was there, so I played my show, and if you ever heard me do a whole show, you'll hear a roller coaster of this and that, touching on the themes of the beautiful organizations we're benefiting tonight and all the ones that Cheryl mentioned that's been going on through the years here, and really about the human family. So I put that song at the end of the night, at the end of the second set, not the last song, but the second to last song. When I got to that line, when you come for Guadalupe, all the air got sucked out of the room. Oh, it was quiet. You could have heard a pin drop, except when you drop a pin in a vacuum, it just floats. It doesn't hit the ground. So a little extra science, no extra charge. And after I played my final song, which I think that night was I Stand for Love or May the Light of Love, or one of those love songs for everybody. I'm talking to some people, and the fire chief said, Mr. Roth, I'd like to see you in my office. Yeah, Gary, I'll be right with you. I'm talking to some people. Mr. Roth, would you please come in now and close the door behind you? Okay, and his office door was about a distance from where I'm standing to just past this podium here, not very far, but here's what went on in my head. Oh, here it comes. Here comes how dare you? How dare you come to our community? You can look around, you can see what's going on here. It's people a little more conservative. How dare you come in here and sing songs like that? I've been the fire chief here for 25 years. I'm going to be hearing about this for 10 more years. Some people will ask for me to be removed from how dare you come here and sing a song like that when you can see what's going on? And then I opened the door. He said, please close it and sit down. And we sat across the conference table, and he looked me in the eye, and he said, it was about 5 seconds, an eternal 5 seconds. He was making faces at me. He was kind of going, I love how you did that. I said, did what? He said, you know what you did. And he started to laugh. And I said, well, you mean when it kind of got quiet at the end there? And he didn't say yes or no, but after another 5 seconds, a lot shorter this time, he said, if you had sung that song in the first half of your program, half the fire hall would have emptied out, and people would be talking to me tomorrow, and they'd be calling for my head, and I'd be hearing about this for 10 years if I lasted that long here. But because you were, these are his words, dropping these hints all night long, I called it singing my songs, dropping these hints about protecting the environment, peace and social justice, compassion for people with disabilities, all these kind of things, because you were dropping these hints. I know these people. I've been their fire chief for 25 years. I know that. They're on their way home, or they're home already. They're talking about this. And I wouldn't have believed that was possible. And for this, I thank you. And I said, well, Gary, you're welcome. Okay. We became friends. He retired a couple months later. It wasn't because of my song. But last year and this coming year, he'll be playing piano for me at 2 shows. He said, I'll be your piano player anytime you want, no charge. If anybody tells you there's no politics in guns, and that now is not the time to change the law, just meet the gaze of those who lost family or friends, and tell me how we justify the cause. It's well and good to send out loving thoughts and loving prayers, but by now these thoughts and prayers are not enough. All the good intentions and the cries to make a change must be followed up with action and rebuff. So change the laws, change the laws, change the contract, change the clause, change the mind and change the cause. Change the laws, change the laws. If politicians say do not politicize these things or get caught up in the moment or in haste, I say it's precisely what we need to speak about before another single life is wasted. So change the laws, change the laws, change the contract, change the clause, change the mind and change the cause. Change the laws, change the laws. I will not be silent, though the silencers abound. I will not be led by those opposed to common ground. If anybody tells you there's no politics in guns, they're the ones who know that money runs the show. And as long as nothing changes, they'll be happy and content, and they'll do their best to keep the status quo. So change the laws, change the laws, change the contract, change the clause, change